Yo, you realize they are literally and openly talking about ethnically cleansing Washington, D.C., talking about bulldozing neighborhoods, taking it back to pre-60 and 70 era before the protesters showed up. Yo, we headed for some dark times, yo. Check it out.
Box. It is a death trap. It is a lawless hellscape, and it is a scar on the face of our national conscience. Because we as Americans deserve a capital city that is beautiful and safe and that projects the power and the values of Western civilization. We do not deserve the crime-addled, narco, welfare hellscape that D.C. has become. President Trump is doing God's work. What happened to D.C., especially during the civil rights period, was that protesters that were bussed up here stayed here. The city was burned to the ground. This happened during massive riots throughout the 60s and 70s. Mass swaths of the city were torched and were never really rebuilt. And so what President Trump is doing is reasserting control of not only our nation's capital, but truly the seat of Western civilization. Is a representation of the work of your forefathers and mine. It is, by every measure, a very beautiful city architecturally. It is a sacred city. It is a sovereign place with the monuments to great men and women who've sacrificed far more than you or I could ever dream for this country. It must be preserved because the peoples of Earth, and if you are a proud patriot and you love this country and you wish for it to be reflected honorably to the peoples of Earth, then Washington, D.C. must be swept clean. I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime-ridden and so infested that you just need to, you're just going to have to crack down. You're going to have to do the job, and you're going to have to get the crime out of Washington. That's my personal experience. Don't believe the bullshit that you hear online from some reporters. Oh, crime's down in D.C. Well, my infant nearly died in a drug fire after mass shootings. So no, D.C. is not safe. And I can tell you this as a matter of fact, it is one of the worst, most racist narco states and welfare states imaginable. In that neighborhood that I would walk every single day, racial epithets were screamed at us. Rocks were thrown at us because we were white people. This city is a sunken place. It is an unsafe place. I mean, if that's what happens to me, imagine what happens to somebody who's visiting here from a foreign country, right? It's totally and wholly unsafe and a scar on the face of our country.
Hey, if you Black, Latino, or Native American Indian, now is not the time to be fighting one another. It's time for us to come together. Shalom, Israel. These devils done lost their goddamn mind.